Okay, so today we're talking about the base 10 place value system, and it's all about modeling the base 10 system. So if you notice at the front of the room, I've added a couple things to our number line. Okay, did y'all notice that when you came in?
Yes.
So everything on the bottom is pointing to the right with a little arrow, and it says dividing by. It kind of looks like a plus sign from back here, but that's a division sign. And on the top, it says everything moving to the left is multiplying by 10. Now, just because I didn't post them even further to the left, does that mean that it stops at 100,000s?
No.
The pattern continues. So every time you move one place to the right in our place value, you are dividing by 10. If you move to the left one place, then you are multiplying by 10. Okay, so each move to the left is going to be 10 times greater than the value of the previous place. And remember, if I'm writing, you're writing. So if I start at my ones, let's just start there because it's a whole number. So does everybody see my ones place right here?
Yes.
Okay. If I start at my ones place, 1 is 0.1. How do I read that decimal?
1/10.
1/10 times 10. So if I was coming from the tenths place, see where my arrow starts right here? My arrow is starting, oh, I left it on my, I forgot I had that on that. So if you see my tenths place right over here, if I move to the left, I'm multiplying by 10, okay? So the ones place is really 1/10 times 10. Now I have one whole, okay? If I go to the left again, I'm multiplying by 10. So the tens place is 1 times 10.
You just right.
Pretty much. So then going to the left again, from the tens to the hundreds, 100 is 10 times 10. I'm multiplying by 10 again when I move to the left. To get from the hundreds to the thousands, 1,000 is 100 times 10. So since I'm moving to the left, I'm multiplying by 10 again. And then the last one, 10,000 is 1,000 times 10. Down here is times 10 again. Now, let's talk about my decimals for a minute. Okay, I know that if I have 1/10 and I multiply it by 10, it takes me to one whole. Okay, well, what if I started right here at the thousandths place, and I have 1,000ths times 10? Okay, what's it going to take me to? 1,000th times 10 takes me here to 100th. Very good. So 100th times 10 lands me at the 10ths place. Then I can start over again. 1/10 times 10 is 1. 1 times 10 is 10. 10 times 10 is 100. I keep going with that pattern.
What do you do with the 100?
Oh, did I not fill that in? Sorry. Sorry.
I feel good.
Okay. Now, you have visuals there that represent with base 10 blocks. So, way over here on the right side, that is one teeny tiny little piece of this entire block. That's 1,000th. This is just one teeny tiny little piece of 100 square. This is one teeny tiny little piece of a tens block. And this is just one cube. This is a whole 10, whole 100, whole 1,000, and then I would have to have 10 cubes of the 1,000 to make 10,000. But that's how it's modeled with the base 10 blocks. Now, representing these in powers of 10, this right here is going to be represented with 10 cubes. 10 cubes. This is just one cube. Notice how up here what I was just talking about. I have one cube. This is 10 cubes. going to switch to yellow and see if it shows up any better on this dark spot, or green. Okay, right here, this is going to be just a flat. Can y'all see that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Neon. Wow. Just wow.
There. Okay, and then the other piece is just the one long piece, and then we have a unit. Over here is 1/10. And then I have 1/100th. And then 1,000th.
Wow.
So we're just naming our models at this point. Okay. Now if we started our thousandths place again, 0.001 is 1/10. It's a little bitty space to write that. It's 1/10. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see that better. Of 100th. Zero 0.01 is 1/10 of 1/10. 1/10 of 1/10. So what is happening, because all these tenths sound a little confusing, but what do you notice is actually happening? Look at our place value above the board again. What's happening when I move to the right? Okay, so I'm losing a 0, and is it being multiplied or is it being divided? Divided by 10. So every time I move to the right one place, I'm dividing by 10. So when it says 1/10 of something, it's the same as dividing by 10. How do I know what 1/10 of a dollar is? What's 1/10 of a dollar?
The 1 cent.
1/10 of a dollar, not 100th of a dollar.
I mean, like 10 cents.
10 cents, very good, okay? So 1/10 of a dollar is 10 cents. How do you do that? You take a dollar and you divide it by 10. Same thing, okay? When I move to the right, I'm dividing by 10, so I'm taking a tenth of that number. All right, so if I'm moving from the tenths place to the hundredths place, 1/10, I'm right here, 1/10 is 1/10 of 1. Very good. If I'm looking at the one whole, the ones place, 1 is 1/10 of 10. Okay, now I want to refocus our attention down here again where these arrows are. How do I get from 1 to 1/10? I divide by 10.
You forgot one.
To get from 1/10 to 100th, I divide by 10. To get from 100th to 1,000th, I divide by 10.
So it's pretty much all 10.
Yes. Every time you move one place to the right, you are dividing by 10. Okay? Let's keep going with that pattern. So if I move over to the tens column, 10 is 1/10 of how much?
100.
100. So to get from the tens place to the ones place, I divide by
10.
10.
100 is 1/10 of 1,000.
Very good.
1,000 is
Hold on. 100 is 1/10 of 1,000. So to get from 100 to 10, I divide by 10. 1,000 is 1/10 of
10,000.
10,000. So to get from 1,000 to 100, I divide by 10. And then my last one, 10,000 is 1/10 of 100,000. Very good. And to get from 10,000 to 1,000, I divide by 10. Perfect. So something that I want you to notice is that each move to the right is 1/10 or, and we're going to put times 1/10, which is the same as, what have we been doing in each of these arrows? Dividing by 10. Okay? These two things are the exact same thing.
You're right.
When you multiply by 1/10, it's the exact same thing as dividing by 10. So each move to the right is 1/10 or divided by 10, multiply 1/10, the value of the previous
That's hard to
place. Previous. And we can't see that.
I did it. Teeny. I
There.
don't know why I had to write that.
Okay, next you're going to glue in your 3 practice pages, or your 3 practice problems. It's 1 page. Your 3 practice problems are going to go on the very next page. So it should be 13, I think, in your journal.
Yeah.
All right. So you should have your practice glued in on page 13 at this time. We've already glued in the keywords cheat sheet at the back of our journal, so we don't have to have that glued in right now. We've already done that. Mine was on page 193. Yours may be on something different. It's just the front side of that very last page. Okay, so what we're looking at right now is the guided practice. This. Number 1 says, in a school district, 6,000 students participated in a year-end field day. 1/10 of the students wore a red shirt on field day. How many students wore a red shirt for the district field day? So on this, if I am going to use my cubes method, and I have it above the board up there, or you can use your journal, the very last page has your methods there. I want to circle my numbers that I'm going to be working with. So what am I going to circle, crew?
Hey,
No. What numbers am I going to be circling?
600.
Yes, 6,000. Okay.
Oh, I thought we were on
Now,
the question.
do you see another number that I should circle? Yep. 1/10. Good. Okay. The U says underline the question. So I'm going to underline my question. How many students wore a red shirt for the district field day? Okay. I have 6,000 students. 1/10 of them wore a red shirt.
Now it's 6.
So now,
Now it's 600.
why?
Because you took 1/10 from 6,000.
And so taking 1/10 of it is the same as
Taking a 0 away.
taking a 0 away or dividing by 10. So if I did 6,000 and I divided by 10, then I would have 600 left, which is my answer. Very good. Okay, let's look at number 2. First, we're cubes. We're going to use cubes. Remember, if I do it, you do it. So if I'm marking up my problem, you're marking up your problem. We're practicing problem solving. Amanda has 2 pieces of ribbon. 2 pieces of ribbon. The first piece is 6 inches long. And the second piece is 10 times longer. So 10 times longer is a key word. Question, how many inches is the second piece of ribbon? So what do I do to solve this? Go ahead and tell me the first thing.
You times 6.
Hold on, I called on Savannah.
You take the 6 and you multiply it by 10, which gets you to 60, and that would be your answer.
Okay, so why did I multiply it by 10?
Because it says 10 times
Right,
longer.
because it says 10 times longer. So I take 6, what I have, times 10, and then the second piece should be D, 60. Very good. Okay, last one. The hospital has 350 patients and 1/10 have blonde hair. So 350 patients, 1/10. How many patients have blonde hair? Ty, what do I do? What do I do?
I think I take away the 0 from the.
You took away the 0. Okay. Will that work?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So if I have 350, okay, think about my place value for a minute. If it's the decimal is here, remember going to which place? 1/10 of it is what? Which way do I go?
35.
I go to the left, right?
Yeah.
So it's like dividing by 10. So 350 divided by 10 takes me to 35. So which way am I actually moving on the place value chart? If I went from 350 down to just 35.
Right.
I take it from 350, now I'm down to 35. 2-digit number from a 3-digit number. Very good. Okay, and that should be C. Perfect. Okay, your practice is in Google Classroom, and it is a quizzes. You had something else, but our assessment took a little longer than I thought it might. So we will not do the skateboard activity. That's there for practice if you need it. What is a grade is the quizzes. So you can log in and start that now.